Hey, so my period's kind of awful. Really? Have you ever been on birth control? What? No. Do you want to try that? Sure. Alright. Okay, so how does this work? Start it when your next period starts. Okay, is there anything else I should, be worried about? There's a list in there. A list? Okay, don't forget to check in with me. There's a list the size of a fucking newspaper, and you're just giving this to me with one instruction. Yep. This is like small print too. What the Alright. Anything else? What? No. Guess we're done then.
It's America, Lois. Men have always run things, and there have never been any problems whatsoever. And don't say the economy, or Iraq, or income inequality, or racism, or Brett Kavanaugh, or air pollution, or Vietnam, or slavery, or Watergate, or capitalism, or Me Too, or homelessness, or police brutality, or
I briefly talked about this in my Discord, so, I'm wondering how interested people will be in this. I've always liked writing. At first it started off as, short stories, more recently it's been poetry, but I miss, writing stories, telling stories, coming up with characters. I still do it with TikTok, but not in the way I used to. So I have an idea. I've had this idea since I was 16. Not sure how I'm gonna execute it. Wondering how many people are actually gonna be interested in it. So actually I've had this idea since before Min and Ember. If you don't know who Min and Ember is, look at the Clueless series I have. I haven't revisited my Clueless series because I actually really want to do that in more of a webcomic format. Very Heartstopper-esque. I just don't think I can explore it the way that I want to with just myself on a TikTok. So their story isn't over, I just need to find a better way to tell it. But this one is older, and it's basically, if you've read fanfiction, you probably know of the Soulmate AU tag. It's all over the place. Soulmate AU one-shots are very popular. The overall concept is that soulmates exist and you have some way of figuring out who they are. Sometimes it's different forms of soul marks. Sometimes it's you're able to write on your skin and whatever you write on your skin appears on theirs. Sometimes it's you can hear their thoughts. There's a whole bunch of different options for Soulmate AU. And it's using that. It's an alternate universe where soulmates are a thing. It's going to be more of a soul mark type of thing than anything. And it's exploring the idea of platonic soulmates. But the thing is that it starts off with two friends, best friends, who are online friends. And the way you find out who your soulmate is you get your soul mark at a certain age, and when you touch your soulmate, it glows. That's the concept I'm working with at this point. So Milo and Kara are online friends, and Milo is aero-ace. Kara is a lesbian. As far as they know, soulmates can only be romantic. So Milo doesn't think he's gonna get a soul mark, but while they're still online friends, he does. And he freaks out and he calls Kara, and they're both confused. They don't know what to do, but they're gonna cross that bridge when they get to it. They finally meet in person, and when they touch, their soul marks glow. And they both freak out because Kara's a lesbian. She's known that her whole life. And Milo's not interested in anyone romantically or sexually, so they both don't know what to do or what that means. And everyone around them is going to be telling them that they're supposed to be together. And it's them dealing with people telling them they don't know themselves the way they are because society says so. That society knows them better. That they're supposed to be in a romantic relationship. The reality is they're platonic soulmates. And they get to navigate that. And they get to confront the idea that society has that romantic relationships are somehow more important than a platonic one. I've been sitting on this idea for almost 2 years. Would any of you be interested in this? Please.
Where do I go now?
It's kind of 4 in the morning because I have a 5 a.m. shift, but I can't find any videos of me playing those instruments right now, and I'm very out of practice because grade 12 murdered me. But I don't gotta leave for work for another 10 minutes, so I can just go sing in my car for a second. There's nowhere to prop my phone. Used to live in the darkness, dress in black, act so heartless, but now I see that colors are everything. Got kaleidoscopes in my hairdo. Got back the stars in my eyes too. Yeah, now I see the magic inside of me. Yeah, maybe my head's fucked up, but I'm falling right back in love with being alive, dreaming in light. This kitty cat lost a mind. Been looking for the stars that sign that I'll be alright. Look to the skies. Found a rainbow, baby, trust me, I know. Life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and play along with me tonight. I forgot how to daydream, so consumed with the wrong things, but in the dark, I realize this life is short, and deep down I'm still a child. Playful eyes wide and wild, I can't lose hope. What's left in my heart's still made of gold, and I know that I'm still fucked up, but aren't we all my love, darling? Our scars make us who we are. So when the winds are howling strong, and you think you can't hold on, hold tight, sweetheart. I found a rainbow, baby, trust me, I know. Life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight.
Sir, will you please stop staring at me?
Where's the rest of you?
I don't remember when I got this question, but it was in my drafts, so. No, if you think you're a lesbian currently, and you've dated men in the past, that does not necessarily mean that you're bi. Who you've dated in the past doesn't necessarily dictate your sexuality. There's a lot of societal pressure for people to be in heterosexual relationships, so plenty of people have this experience. Your sexuality is just who you are. It's just what you feel. And actually, you asked this question to a lesbian who's dated a guy, so it was a long time ago, but it happened. So I can't tell you what your sexuality is, but it's not based on who you've dated in the past. Because people can be pressured by other people or by society as a whole to date other people. For a whole bunch of different reasons, people can feel pressure to date a certain person or a certain gender that doesn't reflect their preferences. So it's possible that you're bisexual, but don't base it entirely on who you've dated in the past.
Currently reading the same two books at the same time.
Nothing happened.
I like it, Picasso.
You know, you would think that at this point in my life, I would realize that people who menstruate are not exaggerating. In fact, half the time they understate what happens with them when it comes to their menstrual cycle. I brought up overall what I experience on my period to my doctor, and everyone's always like, yeah, the first thing they do is like, oh, birth control. And I thought it was an exaggeration. No, I told them what happens. She's like, okay, have you ever been on birth control? No. Have you considered it? I'm open to it. She leaves and comes back and gives me birth control. So within minutes of saying, hey, I have a really bad period, and a whole bunch of other things that are probably hormone related, they're like, have some birth control. You can turn people into skeletons? Yeah. So how does it work? Is it just like one moment they're regular and then one moment, poof, they're a skeleton? Or is it like a withering thing? It's like a withering thing. Cool. So do they age or do they just decay? They just decay. Wow. I think Bellerophon was only a really good equestrian. What? He was a demigod. He was a child of Poseidon. And his only ability was that he was a good equestrian? Yeah, well, why? What can you do? I can straight up control water. Also, like, the storms and stuff. I made a volcano erupt one time. What? Wow. Wait, so you can control water. Can you control anything with water in it, or just, like, you know, like water in the sea? Like, I don't know. If you had, like, Diet Coke or something, could you, like, make it float up into your mouth? I never even thought of that. I might be able to. Oh my god. Oh no, that's gonna be a mess. If you do it, please let me know the outcome. Oh, absolutely. So do all demigods get like cool abilities now? Not just like random enhancement at certain skills? Miko and I are kind of an anomaly because we're children of the big three, but most demigods do get certain abilities. Will can glow in the dark. Nico! Can all children of Apollo glow in the dark? No, that's kind of just a me thing. My siblings are good healers, stellar archers, and well, I get to be just a healer who can glow. I think glowing is a lot cooler than being good at an instrument or archery, to be honest. Like, those are skills. You can learn that any day. Like, I play 3 instruments. I can't glow. Like, I can't learn to glow. They might be a child of Apollo. Might? Don't you know? No, they're unclaimed. At this point? Percy? 1 week. Giving it 1 week. Okay, but if they're a child of Apollo, then that's a reason they're not being claimed. Considering, then that's their excuse. But if it's not Apollo, then fair. You haven't heard from Apollo? Isn't he usually one of the more involved gods? What? He usually is. Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation. We don't actually know what's going on with him. Who knows, maybe we'll even get to meet him. I might get to meet a god? You should have already... Haven't you met Mr. D? No. What?
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
It's not like that. You think Edward would let me live if it was?
Still debating it.
I've held her once.
I don't have an explanation, because not only did I not watch it that much, but it's been almost 6 years since I watched it. I clicked on the sound, I heard the beginning of it, and I went to record it, and then I realized I knew the words, so I just went for it, and why do I remember that? Of all the... Maybe that's just a thing I haven't realized about myself, is that I tend to memorize scenes from movies unintentionally. I'm gonna go through some different scenes from movies I watched and see how much I remember. When Percy Jackson TikTokers and cosplayers who you borderline TikTok stalked are now following you. Like, listen, some of them I was following, and so I got a message, and it was like, this person is... now you're mutual. It's like, huh? They're what? Like, you know, when you're mutuals with someone, it's like, say hi to this person. When I went through a whole bunch of their videos and just thought, like, absently, like, oh, they would be really cool to be friends with, I never at any point expected them to follow me back. So, and this is the same for, like, other mutuals I have that are, like, I watched their content first, and now they're following me, and I'm like, hi, I want to be your friend, but I also don't have a single drop of social skills. Like, no one tells you how to approach this situation. I have cool mutuals. No, I don't talk to them. Why? I want to. Also, there's ones that I don't follow that are, like, they come up on my For You page, and I have videos of theirs saved! And it's like, in the corner, follows you. They what? Why? Why do they follow me? Like, no, I'm not mad, I'm just confused. But what do I offer? Yeah. Having your content seen is an interesting thing. Everyone's like, oh, all these influencers are friends. No. Some of us, we really want to be friends with our mutuals, we just have no social skills whatsoever, and are honestly confused as to why a bunch of these people follow them in the first place. Yeah, just because we have any sort of influence on social media doesn't mean we know. To give you, like, an actual tour. Apparently whoever brought you here did not do anything. Well, to be fair, it was, like, really chaotic when we got here. So... oh my god, you must have gotten here during the three-legged death race. The three-legged what now? I'll explain it after you meet Mr. D. Have you at least met Chiron? Chiron? Like, the Chiron? I'll take that as a no. Okay, yeah, I guess you have to meet Chiron and Mr. D. Chiron is like here, like the Chiron. Yeah, the Chiron. Okay, wait, hang on. Mr. D, you said is a god? Yeah. What god is named Mr. D? Well, it's not his actual name. Well, yeah, no kidding, but just like... Well, he'll tell you names have power and probably threaten to turn you into a dolphin. Dionysus? Oh, that did not take very long. I mean, he's a legend. Right. Okay. Listen, if you were kidnapped and you could turn the mast and oars into snakes to scare the shit out of the sailors that kidnapped you, and then promptly turn them into dolphins after they jump off the ship, wouldn't you? I'm sorry. That's what happened to the crew that was turned into dolphins? Yeah. Legend. Like, honestly, consent in ancient Greece was... well, and Dionysus is just like, haha, fuck you. I love that for you, honestly. Also, overall, just a mood. I mean, the cult of Dionysus exists for a reason. The cult of Dionysus? Yeah, there's even a song about it. Y'all, he's right there. That's Chiron. Yep. Hey, Chiron. Whoa, we're just going up to him? Yeah. Chiron, sorry. A new camper got here, but it was during the three-legged death race, so they've just been wandering around with Percy for the last, like, hour. Percy, why didn't you take them to me or Mr. D? I thought that they already had met at least one of you. Okay. Hello, I'm Chiron. I'm the activities director. Yeah, I know who you are. Oh, so they've told you a bit? Well, I think they have a Greek mythology hyperfixation. That, I absolutely have that. Oh, really? Well, it's just off of, like, the internet and books, so. I'm gonna be honest with you, while I'm here, I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. That's okay. I'm a teacher. That's what I'm here for. So you haven't met Mr. D yet? No, unfortunately. Unfortunately? He's a legend. Well, I'll just go. Yeah, you just thread. Yeah. That didn't make sense. Basically, they're called ninja rolls, but it's like you needle your way through. Yeah. Your head gets here, and when you're rolling, your arms shouldn't leave the ground, or your hands. Arms can lose contact with the ground, obviously, because when you start, they're like this, or at least like this. So your hands shouldn't, though. Yeah, basically, you're You just thread it through this part of your arm. It's just, whoop. Yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it. Yeah. I don't think that's helpful at all, but yeah, just thread your arm through this way until your head's on the ground and then just roll. You would not be able to tell that I have experience teaching, but I do. Believe it or not. So the skit itself is entirely made up by me, but it's based on canonical material. Specifically, these two parts from Trials of Apollo. This one is from The Hidden Oracle. At this point, you may be wondering how I felt seeing my son with Nico D'Angelo. I'll admit, I do not understand Will's attraction to a child of Hades, but if the dark foreboding type was what made Will happy... Oh, perhaps some of you are wondering how I felt seeing him with a boyfriend rather than a girlfriend. If that's the case, please. We gods are not hung up about such things. I myself have had, let's see, 33 mortal girlfriends and 11 mortal boyfriends. I've lost count. My two greatest loves were, of course, Daphne and Hyacinthus. But when you're a god as popular as I am... Hold on, did I just tell you who I liked? I did, didn't I? Gods of Olympus, forget I mentioned their names. I'm so embarrassed. Please don't say anything. In this mortal life, I've never been in love with anyone. I am so confused. I love Apollo. And this scene from Tower of Nero. And this scene from Tower of Nero. I was speechless. How could anyone not make a big deal about this? As far as demigod powers went, glowing in the dark was perhaps not as showy as skeleton summoning or tomato vine mastery, but it was still impressive. And like Will's skill at healing, it was gentle, useful, and exactly what we needed in a pinch. I am so proud, I said. Will's face turned the color of sunlight shining through a glass of cranberry juice. Dad, I'm just glowing. I'm not graduating at the top of my class. I'll be proud when you do that too, I assured. So the little text, that's canon. The skit is made up. I wanted to make up a scene to use that because it's so funny to me how Apollo completely forgot that people are homophobic. So I bought a new shelf. I thought getting a tall white shelf would suit the room better and also take up less room. The thing is, I had to take everything off of my old shelf to get this one in here. I have a lot of books. Hi there, here's a list of things I said and did as I grew up that were obvious signs of my queerness, but certain circumstances of how I grew up led me to not realize it until I was 13. Starting off strong with voluntarily being the prince when my friend and I did dress up, plus not wanting to be a princess on several occasions. There were occasions where I wanted to be a princess, but it was not always. Another good one, I was pretty young when Justin Bieber became big, but I distinctly remember every single one of my friends was obsessed with him. You know, kissing posters, saying they wanted to marry him. And I didn't care. I didn't care. The only time I ever cared was when I pretended to care because all of my friends cared. It never occurred to me that I could have my own interests that were different from everyone else. Never occurred to me that my lack of obsession with celebrities who were men maybe had to do with my overall interest in men in general. Another good one, I used to do track, and one time when we did one of the long distance races, this guy asked for a high five when we got at the finish line, and I was like, why? He said, just do it. So I did. Walk away, I hear him say, that's how you get a high five from a girl. Before I say what I was thinking, I was 11 years old. The first impulse I had was to spin around and say, who said I'm a girl? And this was before I fully knew what being transgender was, and well before I knew that there were options other than man or woman. I almost did that, and I was like, why would I say that? I am a girl. But are you? Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. My favorite character, I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo growing up. My favorite character was always Daphne. Always. I can never tell anyone why. In my head, from what I remember, it was that she was pretty. I chose my favorite character because she was pretty. Everyone else was like, oh, Scooby-Doo, oh, Shaggy. Because personality, me, mine is Daphne. Offering no explanation. Another one, never having crushes. Truth or dare, after we got to a certain age, the amount of times I got the question, who's your crush, or the dare tell me who your crush is, no answer. None. Was that an indication of me not realizing I had a crush on a girl, or my aromanticism? Who's to say? Probably a mix of both. However, quick note, I'm not fully on one side of the aromantic spectrum, I'm somewhere in between, so I can't experience romantic attraction. Just it doesn't happen often. Ooh, a good one. The amount of times I straight up said I don't like guys. I told people on several occasions I don't like guys. It didn't click. Oh god, here's a good one. Freaking the fuck out when I found out Kristen Stewart was bisexual. How did it not click? But he did, because he saw it right after that scene. Because this is all from Percy's perspective. An hour later, we gathered in the amphitheater to watch Welcome to Camp Half-Blood. Connor and Harley had successfully set up the screen and projector without any killer robot exploding mishaps, which I appreciated. I figured the movie would be a typical orientation flick. A monotone voiceover, a tour of the campgrounds, happy demigods going about their business, trying to pretend the cameras didn't exist. Then the opening credits rolled. Uh-oh, Will muttered. This is going to be interesting. It turned out the creative genius behind the movie was Will's dad, the god Apollo, which meant this was not going to be a typical orientation flick. No, as we soon found out, Apollo had written, directed, produced, hosted, and starred in a variety show. For those of you who don't know what a variety show is, imagine a talent show on steroids, complete with canned laughter, pre-recorded applause, and an extra large helping of hokiness. For the next hour, we cringe-watched as Apollo and our demigod predecessors performed in song and dance numbers, recited poetry, acted in comedy sketches, and harmonized in a musical group called the Lyre Choir. Naturally, Apollo featured prominently in most of the acts. The one of them hula-hooping shirtless while satyrs capered around him with long rainbow ribbons on sticks, you can't unsee that kind of thing. I'm seriously considering asking Hera to purge it from my memory. Okay, not really. I'm not going through that again.